Hey, EJ, I know you're busy right now in the ticketing vault, combing your mustache and eating Girl Scout Thin Mints that have been sitting in your office for over 2 years, but
True story, folks.
we need a solid ticketing plan to fill the seats of all three of these events. What do you got?
This week on the podcast, we welcome back a legend in the sports industry, Eric Stooche Jones, to talk about the insanity of crossover season working in college sports. Yes, we worked 50-hour weekends. Yes, we never left work. But there were life lessons learned in those times. And as we walk down memory lane in this podcast, it wasn't the amount of hours we worked. It was the perspective gained.
I remember the triple header, and that was my all-time highest day pedometer-wise, over 32,000 steps.
Yes. Wow.
And it's just because I didn't want to feel like I was leaving anybody in a bad place.
And since it's Thanksgiving week, we'll go around the horn and let everyone know what we're thankful for. And one of those things we are grateful for are the unexpected things that pop up in life. I have a lot of bird feeders in my backyard, and I never see bluebirds, ever. And then I'm on the phone with Barca, and there they come. There are tons of bluebirds. So I'm thankful for bluebirds. I'm thankful for birds in general, but I'm really thankful for bluebirds. I love bluebirds. This is the true story of two washed-up sports guys who chased the dream, private flights, championship rings, running sideline to sideline on per diem and adrenaline.
We gave our 20s and our 30s to the industry, pulled off miracles that were never in the job description. In return, low pay, long hours, and we still got cut from the team.
This is about what really happens behind the badge. The burnout, the bad bosses, the dream job that didn't love you back, but also the lifelong friendships, the chaos, the holy shit stories you couldn't make up. And somehow, despite everything, you'd still do parts of it all over again.
This is one for the ones who lived it, loved it, hated it, and still kind of miss it. For everyone who's ever asked, how in the hell did we survive that? We're two former sports insiders with more than 40 years of experience and more than enough scars to make fun of it all.
And just enough trauma to start a podcast instead of going to therapy.
I'm Brandon Barca.
And I'm Andy Boggs.
And this is No Longer Credentialed. We once had access, now we have opinions.
Podcast. You get it.
We are back for another show of No Longer Credentialed. This is episode 30. We made it, people. Every dime we haven't earned on this show is all because of you and nobody else. We wanted to bring back a longtime friend of the show, the man with the majestic mustache, Eric Jones. The last time you heard him on this pod, he was plotting to turn Boggsy into Wally Pip. It didn't work. That was your master plan, EJ, wasn't it, to take over the show?
Well, Wally Pip, just think of how many people are going to have to look up that now on Google. That's all I got to say.
Now, like I said, this is your third appearance. When you hit 5, instead of SNL's black velvet jacket, you'll be receiving a leftover kids club shirt that's 3 sizes too small and collecting moth holes in the back of the marketing closet. Or maybe those aren't moth holes. Maybe they're cigarette butt burns getting flicked on us by ADs because we asked for additional help during the 6 events scheduled on Thanksgiving weekend. We'll get into that in a minute on this show. But first, we really do seriously hope you had a chance to listen to last week's powerful episode with Big Joe Dubin. It's one of the best shows we've done, and we're extremely proud of it. For me personally, his comeback story provided a jolt of energy to get off the couch and chase after those things we've always wanted to do in our careers, but never had the courage or the inspiration. Day one starts today.
Yeah, it was an awesome story. So happy to have Big Joe on. He just, you never know what people are going through out there, and so just pay attention, and if you can help.
Yeah, Joe Dubin being around Nashville for a long time, if you haven't seen his work, there is a certain flavor to it that you just can't help but resonate with. And to think that that guy could be so far down, um, have those dark thoughts, yeah, it literally could happen to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You got to take care of each other.
Yep.
Boggs, your parents are regular listeners of the show. Even your
Yeah.
dad enjoyed the
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, just talking to him about it. And he mentioned to me that everybody needs to listen to that. And I agree with him, especially middle-aged males. And like Joe said, we're the first to fall. We're the heaviest to fall. And, we all need to recognize that that's out there. And, if you need to go get help, get help.
Well said. Okay, Boggsy, let's get on to the main segment of today's show. And by the way, EJ, no pressure following up the Big Joe episode.
I'm not going to. So I know, first off, it's not an attainable level.
Boggsy, what do we have on the agenda today?
Well, we wanted to do a segment to, one, acknowledge the people who are currently working a lot of hours during crossover season, which to people who have never worked in sports is the times on the calendar when seasons overlap. For example, when the fall sports come to an end like football, soccer, and volleyball, and the winter sports begin like basketball, wrestling, etc., the calendar gets busy really quick, and it turns you into a zombie. And second, I'd like to tell a few stories about our experiences with this crossover madness, and then what we would pack in our zombie bag of goodies to help us get through this insanely busy time.
Man, Boggsy, EJ, this is already bringing back so many painful memories. I've tried really hard to block them out over the years. I call this sports crossover season hell. It's basically what we were dealing with back in the day. Events every day, too many things going on. You're not getting any sleep. You're eating pizza that tastes like cardboard in media rooms just to get by. For me personally, I was probably stopping at like Jack in the Box at 3 a.m. What first comes to mind about this time of year, either in the fall crossover or spring crossover, that just makes you just remember all the glory days?
Well, I think for me, I just remember working a Friday night basketball game, a Saturday afternoon football game, and then we would have another Monday night basketball game, and then there would be like a Sunday women's basketball game that I didn't work, but I think we need to give a shout out to our interns, and for interns everywhere, or GAs or whoever who are working all of the events, and they worked them all. And it was just such a grind. I mean, I just remember, you would leave the gym at 11 o'clock at night, and you're like, oh, man, I got to be back here in like 8 hours for a football game at noon or 11 a.m. or whatever. And it was just, you did the best you could getting through it, man. It was, but it was fun. Back when I was young, I didn't have anything going on. It's like, all right, yeah, I'll show up. Just let me know when the game is, and I'll be there. And I love eating the cardboard pizza and the, whatever else they would serve in the media room. But yeah, it was just a really busy time, and I just thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about what our memories were of those certain times.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way in terms of these are the things. These were the times that you kind of, when you had your staff meeting, if you had a staff meeting, you should have had one. If you had a staff meeting, you're like, okay, this next part is going to suck a lot. And you could temper it a little bit because it's the time of year, Thanksgiving, if your football team is moving towards a bowl, if it's been that kind of a year, there is a little bit of excitement around the holidays, but it only goes so far. And I like to think that those times were easier than on the other side, when it was an overlap between, winter sports like men's and women's basketball, baseball, softball, track, tennis.
Oh man.
Because then you don't have Christmas to look forward to. You don't have a big
No.
meal. You don't have family. you're out there on your own and you're running on empty because of you haven't recovered from the fall. It's been a tough winter. And now you got to act like you're super excited for the coaches and the staff of those sports that play in the spring. So there is a little bit of kind of a mind trick where you talk about the zombie apocalypse bag, the toolbox, and I think humor. I remember, it gets so ridiculous when you're that tired. You're that caught up in something else. The whole situation seems like ridiculousness, and that's all there is to it. You have to laugh. I think laughter is in some cases the only thing we had was the camaraderie of, hey, how can I help you? Everybody around you is burned to a crisp too, but it's like, how can I help you?
It was just brutal across the board. It's like the old saying, winter's coming, it's coming.
Yeah.
And it's a period of time where you have zero time to really plan anything. All you're doing is working off execution. But like you said, you're running into these times of years with coaches' seasons that are starting. It's an interesting dynamic because they want a lot of effort and excitement brought to their teams at this time of year.
Yeah, you don't have it to give. I mean, in some cases, you literally don't have it to give. You're down to your fourth string person that has, sleeping sickness, and they have to, do a task, and they might not be very good at it, but that's all you've got. You're spread so thin. Nobody can get sick, and then somebody gets sick, and then they take out your whole office. That's the worst. When somebody gets sick, they're so run down, somebody gets sick, and it takes out your whole office. And then you're down to kids of coaches helping you, do your job. And I mean kids that are well below cognitive abilities to do so. So we're talking like 5 and 6-year-olds. Here, run these notes down. And they end up running the notes into the janitor's closet or something. I mean, yeah, sickness happens frequently at this time.
Yeah.
And boy, you really know who your friends are when and family members. I mean, I would tell my wife Laura, I'd be like, I have these. I will see you on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you're just like, and she's like, well, can I help? And I'm like, do you want to help? I want you to have a good Christmas too. So are you sure you want to help?
Yeah.
And luckily it was, well, sure. I mean, we have good friends that had kids that were high functioning. We would work the crap out of those kids. Just to say, hey, do you want to go to a basketball game tonight?
Yeah.
So it is one of those areas that it's between madness and complete idiocy that you're just laughing about the whole time.
I'm glad you brought the sickness part up because, people are traveling then too, I mean, your basketball guys and girls are going on small planes and small buses with people. They're picking up germs and, you're working so hard, your immune system is just shot. And it is a really, really rough time of year, but, it can be kind of fun too, honestly, if you're winning and you got really good teams and there's people coming to watch your games. And so that part is really fun. And I don't want to jump the shark a little bit. What used to get me really upset was the fact that it didn't seem like there was a lot of planning on the administrative part about who played when and what days. And it was just like, all right, coaches, you guys decide, and then the support staff will just be here for 12 hours every day. I mean, Barca, we talked offline about, did we have a triple header one time?
Triple header, football, men's and women's basketball, all on the same day.
All on the same day. Like no one, you guys didn't know there'd be a football game on this day. We couldn't have scheduled this on a Friday and maybe one on, I don't know. Like none of that
communication
was ever done, ever.
And they weren't there.
They weren't there.
Except for their game. They
Yep.
weren't there to help.
Yeah, it just always
Yeah.
I worked at all different levels. I've worked at low D1, of kind of mid D1, and then higher D1, and it was the same in every spot. Like it never changed. That there was just never any discussions about when things should happen. It was just like, all right, coaches, you guys just decide and we'll figure it out.
No communication between teams on scheduling.
None.
And then on the flip end, we've seen a little bit of this recently, whether it was unintentional or not. Then you have the coaches coming out and saying, man, I wish our attendance was better in November. And for this
Yeah.
place, it was during a football bye week. And I'm thinking of staff there that are basically have just probably played 8 or 9 straight weekends, in addition to all the other fall sports, soccer, volleyball, everything else. And you're just trying to get your second win for this new season. And the last thing you want is a coach calling out, man, we really need our fans to step up because that next day all the emails are circulating. What can we do from a marketing effort in November to draw fans when we're playing shit state U?
It's so true. And we talked about this before. It's in these coaches' DNA to complain about people not coming out to support their kids. Their kids work so hard. Why aren't they not here? And just shaming fans. But you're not only shaming fans, you're shaming your staff. And it's not like my thing would be, why don't you talk to your AD to hire, more people to help you? Like maybe not have a 21-year-old running your marketing. Maybe you have someone with a little bit more experience that knows how to, properly market your program. I mean, don't blame the fans. And then then the staff's going to get it. They're going to get all the emails. You're going to be preparing for the next opponent. But, your marketing and SID person is going to be hearing from Joe Schmo, associate AD. Like, what can we do better?
It is a time of, it's ultimate test of leadership.
It is.
If you're somebody that's just starting, doesn't matter if you're at an NAI level or D2 or, small college level or whatever, it's equally important to witness firsthand, problem solve, be creative, and know what not to do when this happens again in another 3 months. Be proactive. I love people that will take notes and then never consult them again. They just check the box by, I've been accused of that. For me, it helps me remember things, but the leadership side of it would be so overexposed when it came to those 3-day. I mean, I remember the triple header, and that was my all-time highest day pedometer wise, over 32,000 steps.
Yes. Wow.
And it's just because I didn't want to feel like I was leaving anybody in a bad place. They all need to get fed. They need to go to the restroom. They needed to, go and be away from people in some cases. You just need to be by yourself. That's hard because you can't be in more than one place at one time. But also you just, it seemed like all the time it was like, well, this is not good enough. Well, yeah, it's not good enough because we have 2 other events that, have to be attended to. And I mean, I know that we'll probably get into it later, but the people that we had helping us out that were supposed to do these jobs, boy, there's a limit to what they had to offer on that given day too, right?
The other issue with it, creative energy is low, like I said before, where we're just trying to get through running these events. And then you have a triple header, and then it's from top down to like, okay, we need to promote this as a special day for our fans to come. Like if you have your football ticket stub, come to the basketball game. Or what ideas can we make sure we get fans to multiple events? And again, your staffing is really not even thought about.
No. And the other thing is having very little, I won't say zero, but very little feel for your target market.
Right.
Your target market has a life. Man, they are not going to stay there all day with you. A very small percentage of it was. It sounds like a great marketing ploy, and in some cases, I guess it works. But man, there's only so many hours in the day, especially if you're, think of it, guys. I mean, how many times was it during the holidays?
Yeah.
And you're like, there's nothing else going on in the holidays in somebody else's life. And, but you have to do it. We all were like, okay, here we go again. We've learned nothing. So I'm just going to make fun of it.
Hey, EJ, I know you're busy right now in the ticketing vault, combing your mustache and eating Girl Scout Thin Mints that have been sitting in your office for over 2 years, but we
True
need
story,
a
folks.
we need a solid ticketing plan to fill the seats of all three of these events. What do you got?
Yeah. And my answer was, how many hours do I have? You know, how many hours until this happens? That's when things go horribly wrong. Are we in the storytelling phase yet?
I'm down for stories. Go for
I
it.
love story time,
Yeah.
EJ. I thought
All
you'd
right.
never ask.
All right. So this was during the fall winter. Very early in my career, and I had a great staff. The staff was willing to help out. At the time, they all wanted to be ADs. They definitely didn't want to be anybody in ticketing. Um, I had one just bright star. The idea was, because there was nobody that was going to be there for a women's basketball game, was to pack it full kids, little kids, and get their families, to pay for a $2 ticket. I'm not sure where that money ever went to. I definitely didn't see it. But anyways, the big draw for this was, we went to a very renowned Nashville costume shop. Somebody had some fun. They went down to the costume shop and they got Christmas themed costume that you could get, all different sizes, all different sizes. So you had elves, you had Santa Claus, you had a Grinch, but these were coming in, and then they thought about it and they're like, oh crap, we don't have enough people to be in these costumes. So the call went out. There were people that were sick, and they said, the ticket office, go talk to Eric. The ticket office is always willing to help. They always dress up and stuff, and they would love this. So, like I said, I had a guy that was like, I'll do it. I'll do it during halftime. They gave the only costume he could wear was a gingerbread man. It was the only one that would fit him. But the problem was, you couldn't really move around in it. So it's like a gingerbread man laid out on a pan. You can't really move your arms. So they put him out there, and then for some reason, I still don't know how, these guys tried to play basketball, and I mean, he couldn't. He was like Ralphie's brother in A Christmas Story, Randy. He would fall back and couldn't get up. He'd roll over and couldn't get up. So at the end of it, he had to be in costume, go over and take pictures and be with the kids. Well, there were these two kids. I distinctly remember they had these plastic candy canes, and they bolted right at him. They each, in unison, took those candy canes and just assaulted his crotch. And he just went down, ass over tea kettle behind.
Gingy!
Just, somebody help, somebody help. You could hear him just say, somebody help. But I always remind him of, whenever I talk to him, of that time that he was nice when we didn't have anybody. He dressed up as Gingy the Gingerbread Man and was assaulted by two children with plastic candy canes. To this day, I just don't know how it's affected his life. But
I hope
try
he
to
had
be nice.
I hope he had his body cam on.
The promotion happened no matter
Yeah.
what. We got it done. But that was kind of the all for one kind of thing. And that was funny because we all watched him. There's no tickets to be sold at that point. So we just watched him get pummeled and watched him go over backwards. I'm just sad nobody got pictures of it. But that's what you did. You just helped somebody out.
I think you're right. We found humor or we found other fun ways to make the hours go by. And that's one of the things throughout the year in sports where you're just in the trenches and you're trying to make it as enjoyable as possible just to get through all the long hours. When you have a teammate do something like that, step up and be a little miniature gingerbread man, it's like that's the kind of person I want in the trenches with me. So hat tip to him. And what do we think senior leadership and admin, we talk about it a lot, even head coaches, can do to help staff and help manage mental health and stability and balance? We know these times come up and you're going to have to work a lot of hours, but instead of it being an afterthought, maybe what are some intentional things that could be done?
Have a feel and an understanding. Developing your empathy is the biggest thing. There is a physical toll that it takes, but realizing there is a mental toll that happens to all of us. I think showing intentional gratitude is something that we could always be better at.
Yeah.
Saying thank you and meaning it, right? Not being sarcastic. Thanks for doing your job. How many times did we hear that, over the course? And it's funny, but it's really not funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, thank you for doing that. It doesn't mean you have to pay that person, but maybe you can come back at a later time and say, hey, recognize that person with an email, a simple email or text, and say, hey, seriously, really appreciate that. I know it's a tough time for you guys. I hope you have a great holiday season, or I hope you have a great weekend, or whatever it is. I think being intentional with your gratitude would go a long way in all of this.
Yeah. I also think, too, I don't remember ever having a supervisor say, hey, don't come in on Tuesday. I just never had somebody say, hey, just take a couple hours in the morning. Like, don't come in. If you're going to come in, don't come in till noon. Just like you said, just have some gratitude and just some wherewithal about what you just did. I mean, that triple header on that Saturday, I mean, how many hours did we work on that day? I mean, you're probably talking at least 12, maybe 14.
28.
Maybe yeah, maybe more. Maybe there's not enough hours in the day, right? And,
Yeah. How long have we been here?
Yeah, it's just crazy. And, I will give people credit that they didn't really watch our hours too much, as far as, hey, if you wanted, leave out of here at 4:00, I would just leave and no one would say anything. There's no words to tell me, hey, do it. I just did it and just didn't really care what they thought and what they said.
Staffing is an important one, being intentional about it and vocal about it. Things that obviously I could have done better or I could have encouraged on our staff as well during those times is like, hey, you know what? We don't need to be fully staffed at all 8 of these events during this crossover season. Let's get by with what we can and, find little spots where people can get rests. And so maybe we don't need that second person at a basketball game or whatever it might be. I think that's extremely important. You have to have people that are thinking about scheduling and workloads. And so I would say that and just be okay with knowing that we're not going to be providing our best overall effort, because let's be real, it's not reasonable. And, what's the point of burning out your staff in a 2 to 3 week period in crossover season when you've got to be thinking, it's like the old saying, you got to be thinking about not the sprint and the marathon. And you need your people's minds fresh throughout the year. And this is a point of year that I think can be really damaging mentally to your staff.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah. No question.
I think too, and I've worked in places where, hey, if I wasn't at the game, like the scoreboard didn't get run, or if I wasn't at the game, there were no stats. I mean, I was like one of 2 people like staffing a game. And so you just resign to the fact that you're going to have to work those amount of hours, but just on the back end, someone could just say, hey, thanks for doing that. And don't show up on Tuesday. Just stay at home or go hit some golf balls or, do whatever you like to do to have fun. just stay in your bed all day, whatever. But just acknowledge the fact that it was pretty hard these last 4 days when you worked 80 hours, you know?
Or don't give me crap if I go on a 2-week vacation in August, or
Right.
if I decide I'm going to go to Hawaii with my family during a basketball season. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, that's a
Yeah.
little extreme, but I'm going to point back to that. If I'm that guy or girl, I'm going to point
Yeah.
back to that and said,
You
but
remember
I
that?
did this.
Yeah.
There's a quid pro quo for all that.
Yeah.
And that's the other side of it.
There's a give and take. You can't just keep on taking from your employees, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be intentional, I guess, I guess that's probably our message. Just be intentional with your words and be intentional with your gratitude, because heaven knows the hours. I mean, if you don't work in sports, which most people listening to this podcast probably have worked in sports, so they understand, but if you don't, you don't see your family for 4 days. And it's a rough deal, man. Rough deal.
And when you're thinking about Thanksgiving weekend, I know, Boggs, you didn't have to deal with this. You were typically in Maui.
I was in Maui, man.
So let's not feel bad for Boggs, people.
Yeah.
Seriously. But
even if he had to eat out of snack machines.
Yeah.
I mean, that
he
gotta
did do
count
that for
something.
Thanksgiving one time, or
Yeah, I
he was
did
eating
do
at
that.
Tony Romo's or somewhere
Yes.
Tony Rose.
on the road, get himself a nice steak dinner.
Yeah.
But some of us that didn't get to go to Maui or Hawaii or San Juan or all these
Cancun.
extravagant places with hoops that would travel to these tournaments during these holiday breaks in November and December.
Yep.
You want to talk about being intentional? I go back to thinking about a women's basketball coach that would schedule their own Thanksgiving home tournament on the Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Oh, I forgot about that.
4 teams.
Oh,
The
my
other 3
gosh.
teams were, again, shitbirds. The tournament was basically designed so they could hold a trophy at the end of the day on that Saturday. And so you'd have 2 games on Friday, and then you'd have the consolation game Saturday, and then the championship game. And there would be a couple hundred people in the stands. And you're just thinking, like, you're missing, all of that weekend on top of already having probably, if you have football at your school, you've got a football game that Saturday, and you're just like, this could have been prevented.
It could have been. I totally forgot about that time, man. I guess I could because I was never around.
How could you forget the Fresca Invitational Tournament?
I know.
I mean, my God. Oh my
But
gosh.
that's a prime example of administrators be like, I just don't think this is going to work. Like, let's try something else. But coaches do what they want.
But it got done.
It got done. Yeah,
it got
exactly.
done really well.
It got done. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we all survived. It got done, but yeah, it's kind of like, are we really going to do this again next year? Well, if Fresca will sponsor us, sure.
That's right. Yeah, we're on it.
I do pour one out for the poor interns, like you said. They're poor not only from most of the time not being paid
Right.
in the day, but poor from also having to work every one of those damn crossover events. I mean, it's just crazy to think about how much of a workload they had.
Yeah.
For very little pizza. Very little pizza at the end of the day.
Yeah. It's just I guess it's just your rite of passage, I guess, if you're working in sports to work 80 hours in 3 days. That's probably a little exaggeration, but not much of one. Where we had interns that had 4 or 5 sports, and then we were like, oh, hey, dude, I need you to come and do quotes for me at the end of my game, or can you help me with notes at the end of the game, or I really need you here early to help me put this, and this down, and help me do this, and this. You're like, they probably hated my guts. Because, I just worked a soccer game last night, and I have another one tomorrow, and you want me here to do this.
Well, it's the bigger
tough.
systemic problem of, for example, in your case, an SID office that's already understaffed, and you guys probably aren't communicating as much with each other because everybody needs the intern to do something.
Right. Yeah, I'm like these poor interns are being pulled in a million different directions, and I just need them to help me with post-game quotes and notes. and help me put a recap up at the end of the game. It's a tough situation. But again, I guess you kind of know what you're getting into when you start doing this. Like, I think I'm going to be working a lot. And of course, the pizza's free, so why wouldn't you want the pizza?
Yeah, we've had a couple interns that have gone MIA from those crazy times.
Yeah.
And at the time it was frustrating, but looking back, I'm like, man, they probably had every reason in the world to just be
Sure.
like, I'm not showing up anymore. Screw this.
Yeah. It's tough, man. EJ, did you ever have somebody just no-show you that were supposed to be there, like staffers?
We had an awful lot that would get sick. Sickness was a big part of it, and you had to take a deep breath and realize that it happens. People get
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate and have not really gotten sick much. I would have a couple that would no show, but usually it was somebody on the no show side that I wasn't really counting on from the beginning, or somebody that I would just say, okay, fine. That just means we're going to have 2 lines instead of 3, or whatever it
Right.
was. So I didn't really have it. But I do think it's important, in order to avoid that. I do think it's important to develop the people that are going to be working with you on event day, and really know who they are, take an interest in who they are. Like we just talked about, being intentional about it. I am so thankful for the guest services people that could seemingly fill in if need be. And most of them, I mean, God bless them all. Most of them provided comic relief, because they could say things to the drunk folks that showed up for a ball game. They could say things like, on the ticket window side, we had one, Frances, her and her husband would work events, and we had Frances in the ticket office, and she would help with money at the window and things like that. I mean, I would stand back to listen to her interact through the little microphone at the front of the ticket, and somebody would give her a $100 bill, and she would just say, honey, I can't do anything with that. And it she's just like, you don't have anything smaller than that, or credit card. She would say things, and those guest services people, they had such a way about them. They're older, generally older. We've talked about Franklin on this podcast before, Mr. Hood, who passed away. He was in his 90s, working events, interacting with people. The best part about it was, a lot of times they're hard of hearing, and it's just like, I didn't hear what you said, and they'd have to repeat it all over again. But it's hard to get frustrated with somebody like that, and they would bring a joy to it as well. But I used to love it when Frances was working with me in the ticket office, and she knew she couldn't be heard very well, but she would play that role very well. The drunk person would be outside, and they're like, I lost my ticket. She goes, well, that sounds like that's a you problem, not my problem.
Ooh.
And a person would be like, what did you just say? She said, what did you say? And play that little game. But they were so drunk that, they've lost their tickets to a Kentucky game or Tennessee game or Razorbacks, whatever it was. Just having the ability to rely on people that you really, have built up a relationship with, even if you only see them during the game seasons. That was always, it brought in humor for me, which I think we all know is a big part of what I like about the job, or liked about the job. But the people aspect of it, if it's humanizing, if you don't see, and I could rely on her. She said, the one time that I won't show up, it will mean that I'm dead.
Mm.
And I mean, I think she worked up to almost the day she died.
Yeah.
So it is important. If you get a no-show, that's going to happen from time to time. Sickness or life happens, but that happens less if you do take the time to get to know the people that
Yeah.
you're working with, and that takes on a responsibility all on its own.
Yeah.
EJ, I know you're a big zombie apocalypse guy. What about a zombie apocalypse bag to survive what I would call sports crossover season hell? What do you guys have in your bag?
You got to have sustenance. So for us, it was something my wife used to make in batches called white trash. Uh,
Love it.
white chocolate. Yeah, I know you do. You've eaten plenty of handfuls of it. Um, white chocolate on pretzels, peanuts, and everybody's got a different version of it. But Laura would literally around this time, and then in the spring, would literally make huge batches of it every night. I mean, she's like a freaking Keebler elf every night. I would come back. There's wax paper laid out all around the kitchen, and this stuff has to dry on this wax paper. And we lived on buckets of it. So the sustenance part of it, there was a lot of carbs, and I think it was one of those things that did keep us going was food. You got to make sure that everybody's taken care of. For us, caffeinated, high caloric soft drinks. So no Fresca whatsoever. It
Jolt
was
soda.
all high fructose corn syrup. One of those things for us. And then I would say the best thing again that we brought to it was we had a lot of high level sarcasm that was in that bag that would allow us to make fun of the situation. And a lot of times after the event was over, before we went to our cars to go home at midnight, we would sit around like a bunch of stupid idiot campfire campers and tell these stories about these things, and then we would trade them. We would just trade them. You guys did too. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes we would tell them maybe the next day, but you're like, oh, you're never going to believe what happened at the West Gate.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the girl that tried to pet the dog and the dog bit her face? Terrible things, but you're just like, you can't make it up because obviously there's a police report to show that it happened. But
We've got a Cujo incident at gate 2.
yes, exactly. I think the sarcasm, I always enjoyed the sarcasm level got turned up in these interim times when you have overlap. The media relations sarcasm, the digital sarcasm, the training room sarcasm. I mean, even the fundraising. The fundraising folks would get together and they'd be like, okay, how bad was it when they picked up their tickets? How bad was it when they were in the suite? How bad was it in the parking lot? We got the parking lot stuff firsthand because we would have a radio. And I guess that would be my final piece is to keep it all going, make sure you get a radio. If you were on that internal band for radio, that opened up a whole world to you of other people's drama and stories.
I'm going full snark, Barca.
Go for
you
it,
ready?
Pods. Let's hear it.
Okay. Just because I really have a heart, I'd provide a crossword puzzle or word search for my admin to keep busy during the game since they don't do anything else. And instead of standing there keeping the wall up, at least stretch your brain a little and make yourself useful. And maybe also provide extra hand sanitizer to admins who eat all of your pregame food and dip their fingers in the cheese sauce. There's a lot of snark, boys, because you got to be funny during these times and make fun. You got to make fun of somebody. So
This sounds all too real.
not really.
About you, Barca?
Well, first I have my meds. Don't leave those at home, people. At this age, I got to bring my Metamucil. I got to keep my fiber levels high.
Yeah.
It probably means I'm going to need a lot of breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And during the breaks, this might be up your alley. I'm not really a beef jerky person. but I'd probably get one of those big ass bags of beef jerky. I don't know what flavor, and I would just gnaw on it like a dog probably, because I feel like I could do that for hours upon hours in these stressful situations. What flavor should I be getting, EJ?
Uh, Definitely got to get the peppered.
Ooh.
You got on me in the ticket office one day that we worked together, and you said, "But don't you hate it that the beef jerky makes your breath smell like ass?" And I was like, "Thanks." So basically, this is my non-carb thing that I'm going to eat today, and you just said my breath smells like ass. I'm surprised to hear you saying that, but definitely.
I've come around.
Definitely the peppered beef jerky is the best. Chipotle and the Chipotle, sweet Chipotle is good too.
One of the worst smells in the world is unzipping one of those big beef jerky bags. They're red.
Yeah.
And then just taking a whiff in the bag. Have you ever done that, Boggs? It is,
Yeah.
it's the worst smell in the world.
I love beef jerky. I don't eat it very often, but I think that may be a detriment to why I probably don't eat as much as I probably should. Because you know what that smell is going to be in your mouth for the next however many hours.
I imagine that smell as what a Sasquatch would smell like.
That's right.
And I'm probably packing one of those airplane neck pillows, so I
Ooh.
can slump over in the
Yeah.
in the press box when
That'd
there's
be
100
nice.
people at a basketball game.
Yeah.
And I think you can make contacts now to where it looks like your eyeballs are open, but you're sleeping.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So we're talking zombies, so my eyes would just be wide like this,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
but I'd just be
probably
like
not bad.
fully asleep.
Yeah.
So anyway, make your own survival packs at home. Let us know what you got, what gets you by. I think we can all do our part just to spread cheer. EJ, you were good about spreading cheer during the holiday season. You always had a really positive staff culture, and it's probably why I spent most of my time down in the ticketing office during these crazy parts of the year.
Yeah. Well, but you guys know, you're either in on the joke or you're not in on the joke. I wanted to surround myself because I'm constantly looking. So many people are better at what they do than what I am. Technical, visual. I'm one of those people that it's more fun if you have people together, and I like to surround myself with people that enjoy being around each other. The biggest thing that I still get calls on, and I've been out now since 2018. I still get calls on the Christmas card. We always had a theme.
Those were the best.
Well, and you were a huge part of that because you really were the one that was the photographer of it. But we would have fun with it, and we would have a themed card, and then we would send them out to all. I mean, people that I had come into contact with, but every other school in the conference, I would send it to the conference office. I mean, I would get stuff from the commissioner that would be like, "This is great. How do you guys come up with this stuff?" And some of them were simple, some of them were elaborate. I mean, I don't know.
What were some of the themes?
A great question. So we did a Christmas story. That was probably the most artistic one when we had a leg lamp that was actually one of my coworkers' legs in a fishnet stocking, and we held on. That was probably the best Christmas card, I thought. And then there was we went off site and we went and did a Christmas vacation with an actual RV at an RV park. But we did Ghostbusters. We did.
You played Cousin Eddie in that one, and the shitter was full.
I did. I still have that costume I break out from time to time, just to be a complete weirdo. But we did Ghostbusters. We did the Village People.
Lord Helmet from Spaceballs.
Yes, we did Spaceballs over in the Children's Museum. We did one that was watching it was all cartoon characters from across our childhoods. Gosh, we did Duck Dynasty one year.
They're just fun ways during the holiday seasons to.
I mean, just a way to get people to understand that we do have to have fun. There's too many hours. We're all working together. If you're not having fun, you need to get out of the industry. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
You got to mentally and physically make that and say, this is not fun at all. I mean, because it's all based on a game. These are all games.
They're all games.
And these are all people. We should all like people. But if you're not in it, kind of back to what Joe Dubin was talking about in the episode previous, yeah, you need to find that balance. You need to find that happy space. And if I was able to do that or create a distraction for somebody, I figured it was a win. It was just a win for all of us.
All right, since it's Thanksgiving week when this episode comes out, we're going to have a little fun, and maybe there's a little snark. Maybe we're also sentimental about our days working in sports. Let's go around the room here. I don't know who wants to start first. Boggs, do you want to start first?
Sure, I'll start.
Tell each other what we're thankful for.
Well, of course, I'm thankful for my family, the fact I have a roof over my head and I could put food on my table. 3 big pluses in my life, no doubt. But you know who I'm really thankful for? I'm thankful for the college sports content machine that allows us to keep coming up with fresh content, even when we think we may be out of ideas. The Big Ten arguing amongst themselves about private equity, a disagreement on the future of the college football playoff because Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti can't agree on what should come next, even though both are totally self-centered and self-interested in how things turn out for their leagues instead of what's best for the sport. Coaches' agents playing the national media to keep their clients' names in the news to secure monster contracts and buyouts. We don't have all day, so I'll stop there, but it's the content that keeps on giving, and I'm thankful for it. We probably wouldn't have a podcast without it. I'm also thankful for Maui and all of my Thanksgiving trips. But 2 more serious things.
Of course.
I'm thankful for the relationships with others and how lucky I've been to have them. Don't underestimate them and don't forget about them. This podcast has reconnected me to a lot of incredible people, and I'm really grateful for that. And Barca, one thing we talked about this morning before hopping on, I have a lot of bird feeders in my backyard, and I never see bluebirds, ever. And then I'm on the phone with Barca, and there they come. There are tons of bluebirds. So I'm thankful for bluebirds. I'm thankful for birds in general, but I'm really thankful for bluebirds. I love bluebirds. There you go.
What kind of birds do you typically see out there?
I see them all, man. I got cardinals and robins and blue jays and finches and doves, but never bluebirds, and I know they're around. And we've lived here for a long time, and I've maybe seen bluebirds 5 times in my backyard. So today was a really good day. So bluebirds.
You won't believe how excited he was. He stopped the entire show prep conversation. He's just like, I don't believe what I just saw.
Yeah.
You know, there's the miracle on ice, great calls in history, and then there's Boggsy seeing a bluebird in his yard.
You get it, Boggsy. You get it.
Right? It's the little things.
EJ, what are you thankful for?
You know, I'll always remain eternally grateful for all the career friendships. You know, I've made some great friends. You two are right at the top of that list. We've seen a lot of grueling 80-hour work weeks. Not all of them in this interim between sports that a lot of people probably listening are loathing right now. But I overall, people ask me all the time, do you miss it? And I'm incredibly thankful for those people that keep asking me, well, do you miss it enough to want to get back into it? And I'm just like, I'm okay right now. Thank you, though.
Yeah.
I'm very humbled by those individuals because they're outstanding in what they do. That includes you two guys. But I've learned so much from people way, way smarter than me in sports entertainment. and they all work so incredibly hard. I'm thankful for each one of them and the humor that has sustained us all. My wife Laura, very thankful for her and my family, but she constantly reminds me of anytime she tells me, Eric, you need to do this, this, and this weekend. I'm like, when am I going to find time to do that? And she just looks at me like,
She's right.
you know what you would be doing at this time of year? Like 20 years ago. So very, very thankful for everything, my life that I've gone through and all the people that have made me keep laughing and smiling in the friendships.
Barca, what about you?
Very touching, EJ. First, I'm thankful for all the ADs out there. We love you guys, especially the ones slashing our external budgets to start the new year.
Yeah.
While still feeding the coaching staff filet mignon. There's a crazy recruiting budgets. But the rest of you guys, cut everything by 25%.
Don't forget the charter planes, man. Don't forget the charters.
I do miss those days, but I'm thankful, very thankful still to this minute. I'm also thankful, this is an inside one, for the Hotard bus service at NACTA. We all love going to NACTA. Hotard bus service was always there to get us from every single event back to the main convention center.
Yes.
And do you remember those? This is way back in the day. Boggsy never went to these things typically.
Oh.
No, I was on the beach.
Getting far away from sports.
Yeah, I was on the beach.
I was always thankful for those awesome Daktronics parties at NACTA every year.
Yes.
And the bottomless frozen daiquiris while schmoozing on the field of the Orange Bowl, just getting completely sloshed, trying to recover from the previous sporting year, but also burying my sorrows in what was about to come in the next coming month for football preseason camp.
Yeah, because there's no way we could afford it, what they were asking for.
Free drinks and everything, awesome experiences. Sometimes we wouldn't make it to those round tables the next morning. Honestly, I was thinking about it. That would be the perfect week to shoot a working in sports documentary.
Hey. Yeah. Convention. Yes.
The stories you'd hear by the end of the night when people are just completely lit. It's just incredible.
It would ruin a lot of lives and marriages.
It may.
I'll tell you what. One thing I'm not thankful for, and this is going to shock you guys, I think, because you know how much I love food. I am not thankful for Turkey Day, for Thanksgiving.
Dude, you are crazy.
For the actual meal.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, the meal.
Have you had a good Thanksgiving meal? Do you need to come over?
Oh, I've had them.
Do you need to have a good one?
And I still eat them, but it's the worst holiday of the year. The worst.
I disagree.
Mediocre
1,000%. The
Mediocre
football,
food.
dude. The football, the food.
Football's great.
Football's great.
The food, overrated.
EJ, come on, man.
Think about it.
I mean, I've entered a different phase of my life now, caused perhaps by my own hand, but also by the food that comes on these things. So I give a shout out to to our friends at type 2 diabetes, because that's what Thanksgiving with all the carbs is really a precursor to in some cases. You could cut all that part out, but in all seriousness, it's overwhelming anymore, and everybody wants you to try theirs. Everybody wants you to try their dish and tell them how great it is, and there's so much pressure on that.
Lots of politics.
Yeah, I just say let's stick with turkey. Let's stick with a solid dessert choice, and then let the sides fall where they may.
There's nothing worse than when somebody makes a bland pumpkin pie, too. You wait all year for it. But, some of the other things I think about, turkey, cranberry sauce. You know why you only eat that stuff once a year, basically?
Yeah, because it's not a sustainable food source.
Because it's not that great. But then you end up and you load up you load up on everything. And you know what's also miserable for me, because I eat like 4 plates? Then you're on the couch during football.
Yeah.
And I go through 2 or 3 different food comas during the day. And I regret it every year because I eat so much food and then I just feel sick the second half of the day. So that's part of it.
That sounds like a big part of it to me.
I cannot disagree with you more than what you just said. I'm like on the complete opposite spectrum of you. I love Thanksgiving. Everything about it. The food, turkey is amazing. Dressing, stuffing, all the casseroles. You just must have not had good casseroles, man.
I've had great food.
You'd have had you come over.
That's what I need to do. I'm bunking up with you, buddy. Here's Bugs. Here's me. Let's go.
Here's you. There's me. Oh,
so good.
We'll agree to disagree on this one.
Yeah.
But I'm a hypocrite because I eat all of this food and I love it. Just think about it. How many times a year do you eat ham?
We eat ham quite a bit at our house. Not like quite a bit, but once every couple months.
I haven't had it since 2017 at Honey Baked Ham.
Wow.
I haven't.
I just think it's overrated, people.
Wow.
I love you guys. I love you guys.
Agree to disagree, man.
One thing I'm also thankful for, football game days back in the days, a few of us would just sit in the office in the cubicles early in the morning. We needed to get energy high. So we used to always throw on 90s West Coast rap. We'd throw on like West Side Connection and Too Short and any West Coast rapper you could think of, something to give us the juice to somehow get through another day. And our football team didn't win too often, but at the end of the night, we'd all gather back in the office and we'd have a victory cigar. No, not a victory cigar. We'd have a victory oatmeal cream pie. And we really did. And I don't know. It was just one of those things we would do. And that's part of why I loved working in sports was the camaraderie. And finally, I'm thankful for our loyal listeners on the show. You know who you are. We love hearing from you, all the feedback, even the haters. We love the haters too. But just building this show out and not sure where it was going to go, and people emailing us and DMing us stories. We know we don't get everything right. We don't get many things right on this show, but it's been therapeutic talking about all of this and really, really cool and touching in some cases to hear from you. And so if you are a silent, hardcore loyal listener, and maybe we don't know you're listening, shoot us a note. You know, that's kind of stuff, selfishly, it keeps us going. And we're always up to hearing your ideas for the show too, to make it better, or show topics. Just let us know. And again, it keeps us going. And plus, if we don't have any listeners and we can't continue the show, EJ's not going to be able to get that 5-timers jacket.
Yeah.
No chance.
Time to wrap it up.
And that's another edition of No Longer Credentialed. Thanks to all of you listening. And if you like it, tell a friend and give it a 5-star rating on your podcast app of choice. Don't forget to check us out on social media at NLC Pod on X, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We'd love to hear from you. Until next week, keep grinding.